Nails. Is it a job or is it just a hobby? Can you actually make a career out of doing them? Is that real? We're going to talk about this right now on the Biz Talk. This is a topic that is a great one to discuss because we always hear, nails? Like, you can make money doing that?
A little question mark behind it.
Question mark behind it. So,
like, oh, how nice.
How cute.
Yeah,
right? Annoying. The other thing is too many professionals, I think, maybe don't treat it serious enough as far as pricing and charging and all that, right? That's a separate thing I want to get into. But first, how annoying is it? I'm just going to get right to it. How annoying is it when people are like, you can make money doing that? Or like they kind of make fun of the fact that maybe we're in the nail business, right? Or like as a nail professional, like it's funny.
Yeah.
Or
it's not a real job.
It's not a real job. That's insane.
It's crazy.
Right?
It is. And they truly think you cannot make an income. True story. I told my husband I wanted to go to nail school, and I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
But he has told me, when you told me, I was like, what? I'm not going to make money doing that. He had no idea.
Look where it's led you, right?
Yep.
General manager of Young Nails, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, where you started. Yeah. But even as a pro, Tracey, were you making money in the salon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making just as much as him.
Yeah. That is so beautiful. Here's the thing I always tell students, right, when I see them. I have friends that when we graduated college, that nail professionals were making more than them. Even coming out of business school, nail professionals were making more than them.
I had friends who were, kind of like my husband, didn't think I could make a career out of it. Thought it was cute. Who later on are now doing nails.
Right.
So, I mean, they have to. I guess it's just the you're just sitting around gossiping.
Yeah.
And holding someone's hand and you're playing and you're just never gonna make it.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Like, we've seen what it actually looks like when a nail pro is making money, right? So I want to talk about that for a second. So here's what a career in nails looks like from my perspective, right? And then you can maybe add or disagree. And I know you're not going to disagree, but you can add on top of this. Working 3 days a week, this is potentially making anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a year. Working your own schedule, being in control of your own schedule, being an entrepreneur, business person, marketing, actually communicating and with a clientele on a daily basis, where obviously we hope that you like people, because that is what the career does require, is that you kind of, it's kind of helpful. Yeah.
It's helpful.
You gotta enjoy that action. People come in and out, and it's a service business, so you're going to be connecting pretty close to clients. But financially speaking, just on that tip real quick, you can make money.
Yeah.
You can have a insane, incredible career, controlling your own schedule. Freedom. Real, like, as you are a business owner.
Yeah.
That's kind of the truth. What am I missing, Trace? Is that kind of all-encompassing, or is there any other benefits?
It pretty much describes it. And I think that's where people, maybe it's jealousy. I don't know. I think maybe it's hard for people to understand, or they don't like the fact that we're doing a job that we love.
Yeah.
But we still get paid.
Here's something that I really want to say. Like, there are too many people, and I'm even including men in the picture here, that maybe have a passion for nail and actually want to make it into a career.
Yeah.
but they're too scared because of what people might say. What impression that somebody's going to have of them, right? Like the judgment.
Well, and people will straight up tell you, "Oh, you're going to do that? You're not going to make money doing that."
That's right.
So, unless you have someone to base it on that you're like seeing, like, "Oh, no, they're making money, so I'm good." I wouldn't go into something where I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make any money."
I know, and it drives me crazy because there's too many men and women that are being held back by the fact that they really care about what somebody thinks of them. Mm-hmm. Where like, oh, well, maybe I won't make money. Maybe it is kind of a ridiculous career. And it's actually the complete opposite. Yep. You can make a lot of money doing this. You can have actual freedom. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, you cannot control what you love and what you don't love. You don't have control. This is another thing I always say. I love music. I love hip hop. I was passionate about freaking bowling growing up, about DJing growing up. I got into music, and now nail. Like, I don't have control. I just hey, this is what I'm passionate about. I can't control that.
But everything you just said, it's kind of in the same realm, right? Anything that's creative or that you love, people will judge. Like,
totally.
You said a DJ. How many people go,
"Oh my God, yeah.
Can't make money doing that." Hello, they're making lots of money.
Yeah.
Or musician. Oh boy, broke musician. It's like anything that is that creative field or you really truly love, people judge.
When I left, I was in graduate program in biochemistry. I was getting my master's. Okay, after one quarter, I was like, this is awful. How in the hell am I wasting my life? On the surface, though, right? If I tell people I'm getting a master's in biochem, the reactions I got, like, ooh, like, impressive. Wow, impressive. You're bright. You're a bright young man. I hated it. So I quit.
He doesn't like to be called bright.
No, don't ever call me smart or bright. Ever. I quit, Tracy. Yeah. I couldn't freaking stand it. It was so boring and awful. Like, so I went to my parents and I said, and I'll never forget, I sat down right in front of my father and I said, "Dad, I'm dropping out of master's program." And he was like, okay. And I said, "I'm going to be a drummer." And he was like,
I could just see the look on your dad's face.
Oh my God. He was complete. It was like somebody uppercut, like right hook. He did not see that coming. I didn't see it coming, but I knew I had to pursue something that I loved, right. And I knew it was coming. Like, can you imagine, like, all my family, my friends, I'm, going into the medical field, I'm pre-med, get my master's, maybe become a doctor. And then all of a sudden I flip it and I go right into, I'm going to be a freaking drummer. It was like,
well, I'm sure your
the kid has lost his marbles.
Yeah, he's official. And I'm sure he had spent money.
He did. My dad, I was very fortunate. My dad was a mechanic. He worked insanely hard, turned wrenches, so that put me through college. But you know what? This is why I'm so thankful, is my dad was like, okay. He was so pissed, but he was like, go do what you got to do, and my mom as well. She was like, go figure it out. But here's the thing, like, it was incredible. I didn't make a lot of money during that time. I was so happy though. And that's where I was like, it doesn't matter what I do, and it fed into obviously getting into business with my family and then falling in love with nails and the nail business. And here I am. But it all started with like, I'm going to take a lot of shit from a lot of people and family and friends. And I did for many years. I would go to like family parties and they're like, oh, he's crazy. Yeah. The drummer, he lost his marbles, like judgment. And I feel like a lot of potential nail professionals also might be thinking like, I'm going to get judged because I'm going into nails.
Yeah. Well, it's like, oh, you're going to a trade school.
Right.
Like, wow, I think I'm not doing so bad for, getting married at 17 and doing American homeschool, and that's it.
I think you're doing pretty good.
And not too bad.
Yeah.
I'm not anything against college. If that's where you want to do. I didn't, and it worked out. I got to do something I loved, and I'm very thankful.
Yeah, and I like there was this amazing woman that I met at the Orlando show when we were there. She was in a corporate job, I think in HR, and she was making money. She was making money.
Poor thing.
I know. HR is a tough gig.
That's brutal.
It's a tough gig, man. You have to really love that. Like, seriously. She said she'd always been passionate about getting into nail, but she was too scared to do it. She was like watching our videos. She flipped the switch and she went into it. And remember she was crying when she came to the checkout. Yeah. She started crying, and we were able to like have a conversation. And she was like, I'm so happy, and I'm making money now, and I'm happy because I'm making money doing my passion. What else? What better is there?
There's nothing better. But I think there's that flip side too that you had mentioned also, is a professional who also thinks you can't make money. So you're in it, you did it, but now you can't get out of that mindset of it's not a real job.
So let's talk about that now. This is a perfect segue into that. We meet way too many pros that are not treating their careers as careers. You're giving away services. You're not charging for nail art. You're becoming like too friendly with clients. It's nothing wrong with being friendly with clients. No. There's something wrong with being too friendly in the sense of you're giving away your services.
But yeah,
can't do that.
You're building a friendship instead of building a business.
Exactly. And there is no separation that exists there, but you're not taking it seriously. And there's a huge amount of pros watching this right now. You feel that you're probably in that grouping of like, how do I start charging for my nail art? How do I start treating my business like a business? I've been doing this for 5-6 years. How come I'm not making the money that they're talking about? You got to make some real changes to get there. Yes or no?
Absolutely. And I think anyone that's met me or taken an OWC, one of the first things I tell people in the OWC, I'm going to talk about money a lot. And it's not because I'm money hungry. It's not because I'm a thief or a robber. Things I've been called. It has nothing to do about that. I am passionate about teaching people to look at it as a business because I didn't at first.
Right.
And after 2 years, I finally flipped that switch and I started making so much more money.
Okay, let's talk about that. The first 2 years, what were you doing?
I was giving things away. Like art, taking, shaping, or, you'll come in and I'll kind of just shape them up and do something for free.
Why? Why were you doing that?
I have no idea. I mean, I honestly can't. I'm a nice person. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I really can't put myself back in that mindset of what I was thinking. I think it was fear-based. It was like I couldn't. You know what? It's definitely fear-based because I'm putting myself in that moment. And it was like if someone called and asked, like, "Can you just repolish my nails really quick? I have something to go to." I just like, "Oh yeah, sure." And
come on over.
Yeah, come on over. Now, I could still say, "Oh yeah, sure," and charge them.
Right.
But I wouldn't.
So this is super interesting. Do you recall when you were like, what am I doing and why am I in this stuck in this cycle like I can't get out of? What was that change why did you make the change?
I think there was a girl that worked in the shop that came in and she did custom art, she did airbrushing, she did hand painting, she charged everybody for everything. And she was a little aggressive, probably a little more aggressive than I thought, but that really, I'm like, she's doing it. She's getting it. Her personality wasn't always so pleasant.
I just have so many visuals of what that looks like.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, wow. And I have a kid. I'm trying to support a family. I want to make a living. I want to be able to, at the time I was working like 6 days a week. Maybe I only want to work 4 days a week. But I can't do that if I'm charging this amount.
Right.
I can't.
So you saw somebody in there that was actually, you had an example before you.
I did.
Okay. And do you remember like you flipped it, you put everybody on notice? Do you remember that like that change of like, were people upset or how did they, like, what was the deal?
No, I remember doing what we recommend. I remember putting the price list out and just making it visual, like in a month's time.
Yeah.
This is what it's going to be. And I remember doing that. It was a little intimidating but I just stuck to it. And you know what? No one complained.
Yeah.
And then there was another moment. I had that. Then I went and I owned my own salon. I sold my salon and moved to San Luis Obispo. When I moved to San Luis Obispo, I worked in a salon and I was making really good money.
Yeah.
It was even more. I mean, it was, different town. It was like $85 for a manicure. No,
Wow.
$65 for a manicure and $85 for a pedicure starting.
Okay.
So then I moved back to Reading, ended up with my salon back, and people were coming to me and like, oh, yeah, I was going to so-and-so, but, she charges more than you. And I'm like, oh, time to raise my prices again. So I did. So, 2 times I had to kind of learn my own lesson.
Right. And when you did it, maybe you lost a client or two.
Didn't lose anyone.
That's amazing.
I had one person complain.
That's the biggest fear that we hear, right?
Yeah.
Is like, if I raise my price, I'm going to lose my clients, right?
I didn't lose one person.
And then you were making money. Like at that point, it's like, you have a real business. You got your time dialed in. You're doing 30-minute fills, hour full sets. You've got a nice schedule rolling. Like you have a full functioning, efficient business happening.
Yeah. And you got to realize my prices were cheaper back then because we're talking
15?
12 to 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was still making $400 to $500 a day.
Yeah. That's
So,
and you had control of your schedule.
Complete control.
Yeah.
I would take certain days off, but I also killed it. I did 14, 16 clients in a day, 3 to 4 days a week.
Yeah.
So I that's how I personally like to work. I rather come in at 9 o'clock in the morning and leave at 10 o'clock at night.
14 to 16 clients a day. Tracy's business doing that much was a fill business. Your services were on the 30 for the most part, correct?
Yeah, topical art.
Yeah.
On the 30. A lot of smile lines back then. But
Yeah.
Back in that day, which I'm pretty sure I can still do, I could do a backfill in 30.
That's awesome.
So that's not a problem.
Incredible. Nails is a real career. Like part of our business is training men and women who want to enter this area and have a real independent business, have their own career. You can make good money. So if you're passionate about nails, we would highly recommend that you go for it. That's number 1. Number 2, if you're already in nail and you're not taking it seriously, okay, as a career, and there's maybe some struggle there, it's time to flip that switch. Like Tracy was saying in her experience of how she did it, you got to flip it. You got to start charging, start making that money. Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on nails as a career. If you are a pro, what has been your experience so far in the nail business? With that, say thank you very much. See you next time on the Biz Talk.